What's up once again, Shakana viewers? Thank you for tuning in to another Shakana Toy Reviews. 2 idiots, 1 camera, and a review. I am Wilson. Sitting across from me is my favorite man of the hour, usually
the God of Thunder,
Mr. Berg. In this review, we are taking a look at a couple of third-party Transformers. What are we taking a look at?
We are taking a look at Planet X's number 20 and number 21. Currently, we are looking at Mars.
We'll also be taking a look at who?
Vejovis?
For normal people, let's just go ahead and say who they are. This is the Ironhide. This is Planet X War for Cybertron design, as they've been doing. Almost all of their toys, I believe, is War for Cybertron.
Everyone I've paid attention to have been War.
Well, they did their version of Deathsaurus, which doesn't really have that feel. I think it leans towards IDW a little bit, but that could be argued.
That's a debate for another time?
That is a debate for another time. And the Ratchet, of course. And the reason we're doing both is because they're pretty much the exact same figure with some different colors and a few different molded pieces. Start off with Ironhide here. For those who have played the video games, they'll notice this is pretty damn accurate and faithful to the source material. So this is the design from War for Cybertron, also Fall of Cybertron video games. I was a huge fan of them, especially the second one, Fall of Cybertron. I bought the art book for that and everything. I loved seeing the designs because I thought they did a great job of making Cybertronian designs while also keeping very faithful to the original characters.
G1?
Yeah, to the G1 look. They've done a lot of figures. This is just their latest. They've done a bunch of Seekers. They did a bunch of Optimuses, Ultra Magnus. I thought Ironhide looked great. I was going to get them both, and then I canceled Ratchet. I said, let's just go ahead and get Ironhide. He's red. Red's my favorite color. And I'll tell you why I got Ratchet later on.
Okay.
Okay. So
I wonder what that reason could be.
I don't know. In terms of paint, there's not much from what I can tell. A lot of the reds are just the molded plastic parts, but there are some highlights in here from where, like, when you've played the game, you see they have lights in areas that just are lit up either by like the Energon or whatever, you know, is inside them.
It also has some red back tail.
Yeah, it has some red tail lights. Berg would say that these pieces are painted with that dark metallic.
Don't trust the Berg, but
in this mode, if you look inside the tires, you can see some clear red plastic in there. Just kind of a nice touch. All in all, though, not as colorful as some of their other releases. Particularly, I'm thinking of, for example, Starscream. I also have their yellow version of that mold, which is the Sunstorm one.
I remember not liking their Dinobots because they were
dull. Yes,
dull.
Yes. But this red is brighter than the reds on the Dinobots.
Okay.
Yes, we also reviewed some of those.
Yeah.
Their Perceptor we reviewed. And
I liked him.
Paddles, infamous Paddles. I will mention, even though we don't care about boxes, so much so that I, of course, didn't save the box to either one of these. Planet X.
You made the giant.
I made a big deal about it, and I have the box. I swear to God, the box has to be at home. But Planet X has clearly been watching our reviews, because if you go back long ago and watch our Perceptor review, you'll notice. Why don't you explain what some of the problem was?
It wasn't so much a problem as that there was a toy roughly this size in a box the size of 14 shoes.
Yeah.
A lot of wasted space, and I believe I said at the time, just give me a small box because I'm sure this costs more to ship than this.
Yeah. And
all that stuff.
And if I can find the clip, I'll insert it here.
Here's the inside, and you go, oh, maybe they just reused this from the Dinobots. Well, no, because that is a custom insert. Says his name, Acephalitis, right in there. It's got him all over there. This is giant. And then you have this giant. Look at this.
It's ridiculous.
Less than half of it is, more than half of it is empty. There's like I can store all of him.
Done.
What the f? Why?
So true.
Yeah.
And so when I got these guys, I was very surprised to find a slim box that literally fit the figure, the accessories, and the instruction booklet, and it was perfect. So thank you, Planet X, for fixing that.
Now if you can just go to a straight brown box and save me that extra
Yeah.
$25 in paying for the art and printing costs.
Just, ship it in a bag and bubble
If
wrap.
it got me to in a bag and bubble wrap without breaking, fine.
Anyways, the wheels roll. Very nice, fun.
Are they rubber wheels?
They are not. They are plastic wheels, but they are nice and secure. They roll nice. There's no problems at all. It's very sturdy, but strangely kind of a little more lightweight, this one, I feel like, when I compared it to a couple of the others.
Okay.
Particularly their earlier releases, like the Prime and maybe one of the Dinobots or so.
Sure.
But still, all in all, so far happy with this.
The vehicle mode reminds me of the design for MMC's Thunderclash, but without the giant crap on them.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a Cybertron-y, design.
Which is good. That's what it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
And he's not a tank.
Yep.
So this is the kind of neat little kind of clear black piece.
He's a fat Springer without the tail fins.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Sure. I think he could use some panel lining. I may hit him up. I remember I panel lined the Optimus that I had, and he turned out real nice. So I may for sure do that.
Doesn't have that many panels though.
No, that's true as well. That's why I was thinking. I'm like, I don't know. Well, at least in this mode.
I wonder if he'll have a nice shiny sticker set.
That's possible. Yeah,
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
And for a sense of scale, this is a Voyager.
Ish. Yeah.
He would be classic Voyager.
Yeah.
And this is new Hasbro Voyager.
No, this is deluxe. But it might as well be. I'm not going to say I stood him next to a Seeker, and the Seeker was maybe only a head taller. You can see Hasbro's take on Ironhide's Cybertronian mode, and the way it kind of should look, I guess, depending on how you feel. This is more of a truck fan kind of thing, so.
This reminds me more of a G1 style van, even though it's very clearly not.
Yeah.
And this reminds me more of like a hatchback.
So here we go. Here's the robot mode. Now, of course, this is Ratchet, so we're looking at
a different head.
A different head. Now, what I find interesting with Ratchet is he's almost more colorful than Ironhide, even though he's white. But I think it's because he's got white with broken up pieces of silvers and reds. I really like in here the medical kind of like lifeline thing that he's got on his shoulders.
Heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
Beep, beep.
Works well with the medic bot that he's supposed to be. Same kind of wheels, all the same kind of the paint and everything that you're going to see.
I'm assuming the transformation is the same?
This transformation is the exact same. I would say it's pretty typical Planet X. By that I mean it's not a difficult transformation. I haven't found any of theirs to be very difficult, except from one or two. There's annoying parts of the transformation that are just like, especially with this backpack here, so you basically have to pull it out in stages to get pieces out and then turn it around, and so it's kind of spring loaded in here, and keeping it up while doing all of that is just kind of frustrating and annoying. There's been tiny little things like that almost with all their figures, and of course their instructions have not gotten any better. They've just gotten slightly smaller and more difficult to read. But he wasn't hard to figure out while looking at the instructions. No huge complaints there. If you're used to Planet X transformations or even third party, you know what you're getting with these guys. There is, strangely, back here on both of them, this piece which comes folded down in there, but is supposed to be up in robot mode. It's this like clear plastic piece, and it goes up, but it doesn't slide all the way back to their head, which is just, it's kind of weird. I don't really see the necessity for that other than people like to have that gap filled, but unless I'm doing something wrong.
Captain Gap Filler?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so you can go like that and have it back.
Sure.
But yeah, it looks good. I really actually like the way Ratchet looks in robot mode better than Ironhide. Ratchet would be maybe somebody I'd throw a couple zip lines on in certain areas. What's cool about Ratchet is here he's got that clear red plastic, whereas Ironhide just has a black area there, black and red. So I think that's another reason that Ratchet's kind of, he pops a little more.
Sure.
You know.
But again, he also has the dull muted colors of the game.
Yes, that's correct. The game is very muted and dull. One thing,
they didn't get bright and shiny until they came to Earth.
That's right. One thing that's a little, it's not a huge issue, but both of them for transformation, their shin pieces come out like that. Depending on the day and the time and how well you get it, they don't always stay tabbed in the best. Ratchet seems to have more of a problem than Ironhide does. So it's just one of those kind of tolerance things that's a little.
It's just one of those days.
It's just one of those days, Fred Durst. Anything you want to add?
I'm not super familiar with the game at all, so I'm assuming he's perfect. Yeah, he.
But you were interested in seeing him in robot mode because you're thinking of getting him.
I have an Ironhide that I'm very happy with. I don't have any Ratchets.
Gotcha.
So I always thought it was cooler when they didn't look like each other because I never understood why. Like, I understand why, but like,
don't understand why. Yeah.
Well, I look at all the Ratchets that come out to see if there's a Ratchet that might fit into my collection.
And Siege Ratchet and doing it for you because exclusive and because he's going to look just like Siege Ironhide?
Well, mainly because he's going to be exclusive, and I knew about this guy before Siege Ratchet.
Gotcha.
This is the first Ratchet that has piqued my interest. I saw Siege Ironhide and went, oh, maybe if they did a Ratchet, I could just get a cheap Hasbro and be done.
Yeah.
But what I really want is an IDW style Ratchet.
Sure. Absolutely.
Which is not going to happen anymore. How's his articulation, Mr.
His
Wilson?
articulation is fairly standard and fairly good. For the head movement, he can get a little bit down. He can look up pretty well. It's on a ball joint, and then side to side is done really, really well. And then you got the arms, the shoulders here. Now, what kind of bothers me is these pieces here just lay there.
They don't look like they tab in.
They don't tab in. So that's both good and bad. Good in that you can easily move them out of the way when you want, but it's annoying because they also get in the way and move around. His shoulders can move up high. This is because of transformation. These come up. And if the shoulder pads...
So he'll never do the windmill.
You can move his shoulder pads out of the way. It's because the shoulder pads also move for transformation. So if you need to move them out of the way like that, you can. But yes, he's not going to... This is about as far as you're going to get his arms out. Maybe a little more.
If you fiddle with him.
Yeah, if you fiddle with them. This is the range of his elbow bend. Not bad. The wheel touches there. But if you look, the arm collapses for transformation as well. So that's another thing, I guess, that could be hindering that.
It's a single joint.
Typical wrist swivel. The fingers are just articulated with
all four fingers.
All four. He's got good waist. Both of them kind of, the backpack gets in the way a little bit, but if you pull it out and then turn it and get it where you want, you can turn them all the way around.
Manipulate him.
Yeah. His skirt flaps go up and down.
Skirt flaps, ooh!
Ooh. Ball joints right here at the hips that then connect in just to a peg, and so you can get up and down, out and in. None of them are ratcheted. And the Ratchet is not ratcheted. They don't have much knee bend unless, there's a little secret here, in order to keep all the pieces together, and they've done this with a couple of their figures, there's this peg here that plugs into this piece. So you can kind of cheat it if you want and unplug that and then get a deeper knee bend.
Gotcha.
So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's weird, but it actually helps this piece stay in and makes it more secure. Both their feet have a lot of range of movement because for transformation, not only do you bend them like all the way down, you turn them around so they can spin. It's a little bit tight of a joint, but they get crazy rockers. So you end up doing that. And then,
ankle snapping action.
Yep, and then the toe bends down, but that's transformation shit. Again, nice little clear plastic stuff detail in there. So he's very posable for what he is. He could be more, but he's got, he's a bulky design. He's got pieces that get in the way, so some parts are hindered, but there's nothing that I'm not expecting these guys to get in too extreme poses. Now this is where they differ quite a bit. Interestingly so, too. So let's start with Ironhide's, because his are more typical of what you get with the Planet X. You get Ironhide's rifle here. It's just a kind of standard rifle. It's black plastic with painted pink/red pieces.
Yeah, they don't look too good.
No, and they hold them just fine in the hand. Just slide right in. Nice, pretty tight grip.
Play it like a tiger.
Yep. Ironhide also, like many other figures, comes with a melee weapon that they would use in the game. He comes with an axe. The axe is very cool. I like the axe.
I feel a butt coming.
The only but is just like Ironhide doesn't seem like an axe guy to me. Seems like hammer guy. But who cares? The axe is done really well.
Hold on. Let me split that here.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's got the nice, clear, detailed plastic pieces.
It's a very typical Planet X.
Yeah.
I guess it's typical because it's from the game.
And that snaps into their hands, and they hold it quite well again. No surprise there. Now, what was a surprise when I opened Ratchet, I knew what kind of gun I was going to be getting. So the gun that Ratchet gets, which is very cool, they paid attention, is this gun. Now in the game, this gun is the healing gun. So this is the gun that if you're running around and you see a teammate, you can shoot this at them and it heals them. It gives them some life back.
Very cool.
And this is exactly how it looks in the game. Exactly. Comes apart, so you can have him have a regular blaster. You have to put this part together. You get a bag with 2 screws. Each one of these comes off, right? There's just little pegs that can snap on, but what you have to put together is this top piece, which has these red painted parts, separates from the main piece down here. So what you have to do is put that piece on top. That tiny screw right there is the one you have to screw in. They give you 2 because it's a good chance you can lose one. And you screw those 2 pieces together. And then you take the red plastic pieces, the 3 of them, and just snap them on yourself where they're supposed to go.
Do you know what that tells me?
What?
That tells me Planet X went, fine, you don't want a big box, build yourself a gun, asshole.
Which is okay, I guess, but come on. This piece didn't, okay, fine, you want me to snap on the red pieces? Fine, but you tell me you couldn't have put the 2 pieces together? You couldn't have done that? You couldn't have put the 1 screw in?
Do you know how hard that screw is? They made you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid American.
And this slides on just fine, and it stays fine. But it does make a giant-ass fucking heavy gun, which is problematic because you don't have that long of a handle, which you can get it in his hand fine. This arm is better than the other one. Like, let's say I want him holding it out like that. You kind of get this too, it comes out. This is the problem I had with this, is it's so front heavy that because his hands fold back for transformation, it sinks the hands
It's the
down.
right design. It should have had the panels open on the top for his wrist, not the bottom.
I would agree, yes, that would probably help that situation. I did one pose where he's sort of holding it with 2 hands.
Double barrel shotgun.
Like that. And then I also found, and this kind of works, doesn't look as cool, but if you can have him hold it kind of like
an Ironhide pose.
Yeah, this is more like an Ironhide thing, but
Heavy
there's a nice little grip here that you can have him grip and get him in the right pose, and he can hold it. So it's up to you. It works well. Very strange, and he doesn't come with a melee weapon. But I guess they figure that since you can take it apart and then just have a regular blaster, that's what you're getting.
This thing's big enough to just beat the shit.
Yeah, I know. Just throw this giant fucking thing at him. All right, a great shot for size comparison. Mr. Berg, run us through who we have here.
Ironhide. Refractor? Vejovis. A $5 toy. And I believe that's Ultra Magnus.
That is. That's Planet X's Ultra Magnus.
So yeah, he's a Voyager. Old Voyager.
A good old school Voyager.
7 to 8 inches, roughly.
So testing him out for the 1 foot test, which means he's a good toy if he can stand on 1 foot easily and fairly quickly, automatically gets 1 hammer. Were you expecting any less? Possibly. So both of these guys are pretty much the exact same. So I figure I'll rate them the same, which is a 4 out of 5 hammers. I really enjoyed them. Like I said, I got Ironhide first. Surprise. Loved them so much, I said I fucking should get Ratchet.
That's why you bought Ratchet?
That's why I bought Ratchet!
I am odd.
I love the fact, too, that Ratchet came with the actual healing gun. Like, out of all the weapons, not including melee weapons, Ratchet's gun is the one that looks the most like anything out of the game. What is strange is they've sort of waylaid the way they did it with their first couple, where the guns are part of the hand, like you snap on, and that's how it was in the game. But regardless, it's still cool. They're both fun to play with. They both pose really well, and they fit in with all the rest of the War for Cybertron guys in style and look. Ironhide is a little bit duller. I like Ratchet's color scheme better. He has more of that clear red plastic that makes parts of him just pop just a little bit more. We did confirm that there are 2 different face sculpts on each one of them, as well as heads. 4 out of 5. I've really enjoyed them. I think at their price point, they're quite worth it. And Planet X did another very, very good job. Their figures lately, the ones that I've bought, I've been very happy with.
So you rated them both 4 out of 5?
Yeah, I rated them both 4 out of 5. If I had to give one a higher score, it would be Ratchet.
I'm going to give them a 2.5.
Woo!
Out of 5.
Woo!
I've decided not to buy Ratchet.
Wow!
If I had to separate them,
Yeah.
I would give Ratchet a 2.5,
Yeah.
and I'd give Ironhide a 2.
Wow! Yeah, you really don't like Planet X. But go on.
Wholly unimpressed with Ironhide. He's super blah, drab, boring. I like Ratchet's color scheme better. I like Ratchet's weapon better. I don't like that Ratchet can't hold his gun without his hand falling apart or his arm falling over. I understand that they're sculpted to look like the game, which is fine. I don't mind the sculpt, but their articulation is super limited in the shoulders and arms and elbows. They both feel squished to me, like they should be wider throughout the chest, especially Ironhide. Like Ironhide should be a big guy, and he feels like he's a skinny guy with giant arms to me.
Wow,
Again,
I'm surprised.
I'm just really like.
They're just kind of blah for it, huh?
Ironhide's super blah, and Ratchet probably has a low score just because I'm disappointed. Their arms aren't even 90 degrees. He can't hold his gun with.
Well, he can.
You
With
have
one
to build his gun, and they're just so muted colors. Like they don't fit in with it. Like I have Perceptor, who's muted, but he still has a blue. That
is very true. Yeah. You feel he's muted though?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like that is a very, very non-shiny white to me. The knee barely bend. You have to do an extra untransform it. If like this wasn't here,
Yeah.
it would kind of bug me, but I wouldn't care. But the fact that it's there and doesn't work, what's the point? The whole shoulder thing, I tried just putting him in this pose, and I had to move all his shoulder pads and shit around to get it in this pose. It was just not as fun as I wanted them to be. I think it's just a case of I want this guy. I hope he's good. This isn't as good as I'd want.
Right, he doesn't do the things for you that you want him to do.
And that's probably 100% is based on this design.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Visual design. Like, visually, the design works, but in practicality, it doesn't work. So
you can move this in a video game so he can move any way he needs to, but in real life he can't.
Maybe they were almost too faithful to it.
Probably.
Yeah.
If you like these designs and you like these characters, they're pretty affordable for what they are.
For sure. Yeah.
I can't imagine you're going to get better versions. Like, no one else is going to do a War for Cybertron Ratchet at this point, especially this nice. Hasbro's never going to do it. Like, there's a few other War for Cybertron Optimuses out there, but before you get down to Ratchet, it's going to be a while.
Pretty much Planet X has staked their claim as we're doing the video game designs.
Yep.
Considering that their Optimus, which is about the same size, maybe even a little smaller, it runs $100 or so. These guys are $80 to $85, I believe.
Sure.
That's a good deal, and I don't feel like you're getting anything less.
They're lighter
and less box. Now, I don't remember what you gave Paddles.
I rip Paddles to shreds.
If you had to choose, if I was giving you one for free, I used to say, here's Paddles, here's Ratchet. If you had to pay for one.
If I had to pay for one, I wouldn't.
But no, hold on. They were both $20. Here's Paddles.
Ratchet.
Okay. $20 for Paddles, $50 for Ratchet.
I'd pay $50 for this Ratchet before I would
pay $20 for Paddles.
I wouldn't take Paddles for free.
No.
I might take him.
That's okay.
Maybe for free.
Yeah.
But like $1 is too much for Paddles. Like, he's literally just gonna go in the back of the display under Devastator's foot. Paddles is not a good toy. So that's been it for another episode of Shocking Out
Yes,
Reviews.
thank you for reviewing this for me. I'm glad we were able to quickly take a look at both of them.
Quickly.
Yeah, sort of. Thanks for watching. All the social media stuff is in the show notes.
Shout out to Toast for giving us the idea.
Oh, yeah, and like and subscribe. As always, we love you guys, and Berg, I love you.
I tolerate you.
I tolerate me too. Thanks for watching. Bye!